Hello, welcome to today's ITV-Asia. Our program today is Shanghai Business, and we will talk about real estate. And our expert today is Paul Salo from Salo Homes. So, Paul, can you share us about the current status of the real estate market in Shanghai and China?
Okay, thanks, Leanne. Nice to meet you, and thanks for interviewing me. My opinions are my own, and I certainly don't. Not the top expert in the world on Chinese real estate, but the market is very, very interesting. The stock market has been, since May, basically went crazy, and market is up, and that translates directly into real estate. People make their profits and invest the money in real estate. So the last 6 months have been incredible. Chinese people are buying real estate like crazy, and people are buying second, third, eighth houses, and we've seen houses sell in 1 minute, even sight unseen.
Yeah,
right?
It has been amazing because the economy hasn't fully recovered yet, but we see the sudden boom of real estate in big cities. Do you think that the current price is a bubble?
It's so different than, say, I was in Japan during the bubble, right? And I was also, very in touch with the U.S. market in the bubble. People were buying property at 10% down, right? Or even nothing down. In China, people have to put 30% down. So that's one big thing that stops China from being too big of a bubble. Is if you put 30% down, you got some skin in the game, right? And you can't just walk away. And a lot of people put 40% down. And in Shanghai, as you know, a lot of people pay cash. Mm-hmm. So it is, obviously the liquidity from the stimulus package and also the stock market translates to higher prices, and maybe it's due for a small correction. I certainly don't know the future, so I don't know if it is, but the money's there. It's not all air. So personally, spent most of my life in Japan, right? So seeing the prices there compared to the prices here, I personally don't feel that it's any kind of a huge bubble. I mean, China is so complex, right? Xintiandi has been very, very good the last few months, right? Jing'an Temple is different. Every area is completely different. So maybe some buildings can be more like bubbles, but to say the market's a bubble and it's going to burst, obviously if liquidity dries up and they can't borrow money, then it will hurt everything, and prices could come down. But I don't see big bubble. I mean, my friends that have money, they think it's still cheap, and they're thinking by 2020, maybe it's going to be 60,000 per square meter inside the first ring road, right? So people are saying that kind of thing. I never have been good at predicting the future, so I can just say what's happening right now. And I don't feel it's too crazy. I want to buy a property. I'm looking at property right now. We just took a vacation, and I was just about to sign the property, but I've become very tough bargainer, and I wanted a little bit lower price, and she wouldn't give it, so I went on vacation. So, I personally think it's a good time to buy.
So where are these opportunities to buy, in your opinion?
Where is the opportunities? I mean, Thompson Rivera, is a good one, because they're building next to that, and over in Lujiazui, I think these luxury properties have been, very hot, right? And I think they will continue to be hot. So I think there's two choices. You have luxury properties, right, like on the river, or you have small old houses at 1 million renminbi per place, and then somehow refurbished, or some of my friends have made very good return on investment with small properties in kind of not quite like historic properties, but on that kind of end of the spectrum. And
that's very rare, right? It's not very easy to find. It's
not easy to find, but we can find them easily. Yeah, they're out there. We have a website, Shanghai Maison, MAISON, and .com, and that's all old houses. So. One of our sites is pure old houses. So.
Oh, okay. Can you share us some tips your secret to find these old houses? And also, there's a problem because many people live in this house. There are many households. How can you persuade them to leave?
You can't. They can't presumably. But there are apartments available in these properties, and if you look at an area that the government is maybe thinking about renovating, like Weihai Lu 3 years ago, my friend bought on there, and that was a very good decision because they moved the automobile parts companies out and they moved the coffee shops in, and the fashion. So that was a very good decision, even though his building is still full of people that are paying 76 renminbi a month rent, right? So, but for the long term, these small places, I don't recommend it for the faint of heart, because it can be a rough market. But I think they're great. I think they're gold, because long term, there's no way those things can't go up. No way. 1 million renminbi, it's not big money, so.
Right. You have been quite optimistic about this market, but do you see some problems as well about the real estate market in China and Shanghai?
Well, obviously it's tied to the stock market, and stock market recently hasn't been good. So, it's easy to lose money in any investment. It's the easiest thing is to lose money. So, short term, absolutely, you could buy an overpriced, and then suddenly the market shifts away from that, and in a couple of years you've lost, 20%. But I don't think you're going to see huge drops in the Chinese market. That's just my opinion, and obviously that's why I'm here. And it's not just saying that I believe that, but who knows? I've been wrong before. I've been wrong more than right. So this is just my my educated guess, and I'll go with that.
Yeah, and also there have been quite a few expats wanting to buy property in Shanghai, and as you said, like luxury apartments in Xintiandi or Lujiazui. So what's your advice on that?
For the foreigners?
Should they buy, and how they buy it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Most of our serious buyers are Chinese. We started out leasing to foreigners, and we still, our biggest department is still relocation and leasing to foreigners. But I see the future as Chinese, and selling to Chinese is right now, the locals, they know the market, they know the process. The foreigners tend to be very afraid of what's going to happen with this process. In China, it's a very simple process to buy real estate. It's almost a bulletproof process, and there's nothing to be afraid of. But a lot of the foreigners don't know that. So, I don't want to convince anybody who is afraid to buy to come and buy. And in fact, I don't want to convince anybody to buy. A lot of foreigners are in fact selling now. And most of our sales have been from foreign sellers to Chinese buyers in the last 6 months. So I don't see a lot of foreigners coming and buying. Right now it's difficult to buy more than one property as a foreigner. Recently Beijing abolished this rule, so you can purchase several properties as a foreigner in Beijing. And probably, we hear that it probably will change here fairly soon, but I don't see foreigners as the main market. But, I think it's smart, personally. I think it's smart, and come in and jump in and find out what it's like, It's obviously the market's going up in general. The economy's rising. The Shanghai government is targeted. The Beijing government has targeted Shanghai as the finance center of Asia by 2020, right? So they're serious about that, and I think prices will rise to Japan levels by 2020. So if you know Japan levels, it's it's cheap. It's extremely cheap. So.
Yeah, right. And looking at Shanghai Expo next year, many people think that will be a big factor on real estate market. And personally, what do you see? Do you think this is a bullish factor, or it's a bearish factor for this property market in Shanghai?
Oh, it's definitely bullish. The government's spending twice as much as they spend on the Olympics, right? So that money is just purely going to fixing infrastructure. Water lines, electricity, internet, roads, highways, entertainment, and this stuff is gold for real estate because it makes it an easier city to live in. So, if you look at that whole area, the Expo area, everything around there is definitely going to rise. There's just no way you can go any other way. And well, in the 5-year term, but Yeah, I think the expo. At first, I was quite negative on the expo actually, because I thought, that maybe it wouldn't be so successful. But as it's coming closer, I can smell that whether it's the expo or China, everybody wants to come to China anyway. So I think this is their excuse to come and see. And obviously, the most important thing is Chinese tourists coming in from all the other cities and spending money here and interested in Shanghai, right? After, Vancouver had the expo, that went up considerably. And even now, there's a hangover from the expo. All the people from Hong Kong went there, right? And people are going to come to Shanghai, definitely. They see Shanghai, they're going to like it, and just like that.
And going forward in the next couple of years, how do you see this market will develop in China?
You mean like for what particular, like?
For property market, how in terms of price and the structure of the industry, in what way do you think it will develop itself?
Okay. I hope that there's more development for single people. Traditionally they've had all these family houses, but where's the families, right? It's single housing is where it's at. And in Japan there's one room, they call them one-room apartments, right? One room, plenty of one-roomers out there, and those things are full too, and they have a great return on investment. So I hope that if the market develops, the market's going to do fine anyway, any way you look at it. But if it develops based on the needs of people coming right now, it's going to be a blockbuster, And I think more single people are coming. Single girls are coming from the countryside. Single guys are coming with their company. It's good. I think it'll be good. I'm not saying all of China, right? I'm just talking about Shanghai. I think Shanghai is definitely, the market is going to be good in the next few years.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Thanks for sharing with us.
Sure.
And this is today's Shanghai Business. I'm Lian Wang. Thanks our guest, Paul Salo from Salo Homes. See you next time.
Thank you.